I can give you a number of examples of where CEO succession played a vital role and what kind of impact it played. One example is actually a series of chapters in the CEO succession, a company that I've worked with for over 25 years now. And it's a consumer products company in which the CEO who was in place, who was a tremendous CEO, successful. The company had several years of a very profitable run, terrific stock performance, and a workforce that was charged up about their company and about their ability to compete. He died very suddenly. In fact, I was the last person to be with him in a business level before he died. Was with him. We had a great discussion. We were talking about some succession issues, and I left, went home, came into my office early the next morning, and my secretary told me to call the ex-chairman because the current chairman and CEO had suddenly died in the middle of the night of a heart attack. And it forced a succession decision suddenly, and we had an emergency meeting of the board and our HR to discuss the person who was the chief operating officer and was that person ready to step in. For a variety of reasons, that person was selected to become the CEO. The difficulty is that person had been brought in from the outside a year or two prior to that, and there really wasn't enough time for the person to acclimate to the culture and the culture to acclimate to this person. And it speaks to the power of corporate culture and the power of fit. And ultimately that did not work out. Ultimately the person decided, for a variety of reasons, among others health, that it was best to move on. But it put the board in the position of looking in a much more planful way at succession. Because although we discussed succession regularly, it was always with the notion that this is something further out there. And the impact of the death of a CEO on succession and the suddenness of it forced the board to take a far more active role. And so since then, we have, with the board, looked much more carefully at the leadership requirements, the fit requirements, and the board, in its wisdom, selected a CEO that has been nothing short of spectacular in his ability to lead the organization and the performance of the organization. Almost from, I'd say, not quite the day he took over, but not too long after that, we began looking at the leadership requirements for the future of the next CEO. And because the board did not want to ever be caught in that position again, and they understood that it does take time. And so we have very thoughtfully, carefully, planfully been spending an awful lot of time looking at the future leadership requirements, the development needs of the top maybe 5 people, who the possible candidates are, how to best develop them, getting them in the right positions, giving them the kind of experiences, monitoring their developmental progress and growth, giving them the kind of coaching and support they needed to help them assist them in the learnings that they've had from these different experiences. And I think this is really one of the more stellar examples of how CEO succession should work, because it has been a team effort every step of the way between the CEO and the board, looking and planning and developing. But it came on the heels of what was a painful experience for the organization.